Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Nathaniel,
Michael.
and today we are here with Tisania. Tisania, introduce yourself, let them know who you are and what you
Hi, my name is Tisania. I started Breezewax. It's a 100% natural soy wax candle company. That's what I do. I also work at McDonald's. I'm manager at McDonald's. I do poetry. I do a whole bunch of stuff. But right now, the relevance is candles. So I'm a business owner. Sounds cool saying that.
do. Awesome. Sounds like you have your hands in a lot.
I do. There's a lot going on all at once.
So, of course, how did Breezewax start? The name, where the name come from, and what was your inspiration to start it?
I've always loved candles, always been obsessed with candles. My mom has always been obsessed with candles. Every year, Mother's Day, birthday, everything, she's like, just give me candles. I just want candles. So that like kind of ignited my love for candles. And this pandemic has like sucked, like completely sucked. I'm a creative person. I need to be up doing stuff. I need to be doing stuff that's like rewarding. And like with COVID happening, and like taking like, it basically took like poetry away because I can't perform. I was bored and I was going crazy, and I'm like, I need something to do. I need something that's gonna like I can do with my hands, and I could like feel rewarded by doing it or whatever. So candles, like I love candles. It kind of was like a no-brainer. The name is from, so I have a baby sister. Her name is Brielle, and Breezewax, we call her Bree. So it's basically derived from her nickname because, like, you know, beeswax is often used. I don't use beeswax, but beeswax is often used to make like candles and stuff. So that's where the name's from. My mom helped me come up with the idea. But yeah, Breezewax has come from my little baby sister, and yeah, it was just like an idea for boredom because of COVID.
So with that, how do you plan on taking the business forward? Do you see it as like a side hustle, or do you see it more as like a future?
Well, with the kind of person that I am, I don't like can I swear? I don't like half-assing anything. Can I say that? You know what I mean though? Like I don't like doing things just cause, like if I'm gonna do something, I'm actually gonna do it. So I didn't really see where I was going with Breezewax when I first started. I was like, let's just make some candles, see what happens. And now that I'm actually getting a response and I'm getting attention for it, I'm like, you know what? Like this makes me want to do more with it. It makes me want to go farther with it. I don't have any concrete plans, but I do know that this isn't just going to be for like COVID. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of businesses that started just because of COVID and it's going to end when COVID's ending. I don't plan on doing that. I plan on like actually investing in this and like trying to see like how far it can go, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you never know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah. So.
I was on your page and I saw the video that you created.
Yes.
Um, I thought it was really cool, like how you directed it yourself too, and the way you put it together.
Thank you.
It was a good message too. I watched it. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let us know like why did you make the video? I know it was like the topic was like stop Asian hate, and everyone spoke about their experiences. So like, where did you get the idea from, and like what did you want everyone to get from the video?
Okay. Well, I'm like through poetry, I'm a very like social justice kind of very loose. The term activist can be used very loosely, but there are often things that I like to talk about in that world. It's like a world that I'm very attached to in a way, like when things are happening in other communities and stuff like that, like racially and like religiously, I'm like, bro, like I do not like this stuff at all. And then also later in life as a career, I want to be a director. I want to be a producer. I want to create my own movies and documentaries, stuff like that. So every opportunity that I get to do that now, I'm going to take the opportunity. So with Breezewax, what we did was I started the campaign, started the conversation for the month of April. And it was just to talk about like get people people started to talk about like what's actually happening with this whole Asian hate thing and like why it's such a big deal and stuff like that. And the reason I wanted to do the video was because one, I want to build stuff, I want to experiment, I want to work with other videographers and stuff like that. So like doing it through Breezewax, I felt like was perfect. And I want to be able to provide content that's not just like cute little pictures of candles. Like I want my business to mean something more. So that's why I also created the campaign. And then the whole intention with the video was for people who are in the Asian community who have been like degraded and stereotyped and stuff, literally based off of how they look, for them to come forward and be like, yo, like I'm literally more than what you think I am, you know, like to humanize them, to make it as authentic as possible, to basically separate the whole image that people have of them, the assumptions that are made, and then actually show people like who they actually are. Like, what's your name? Like, do you go to school? Like, you're more than just someone from Nepal, or you're more than someone from Korea. You know what I mean? Like, it's more than just what people want them to be. So yeah, that was the video. That was the whole kind of intention. I just wanted to be like as authentic as possible, you know? So, yeah.
You're combining all the things you want to do, like the documentary, photography. So with the, you talked about how you do social justice. You like talking about social justice. With your spoken word, how did the whole spoken word thing come together?
Oh, spoken word. Okay, so I was in grade 9, and I was like a super drama kid. Like I was the kid that was in all the drama stuff, all the sports stuff. I wasn't like math or science. That wasn't me. So I was in drama class, and we were given the assignment to write a rant from the perspective of anybody we wanted in history. So I started writing a rant from the perspective of a mixed girl, like a biracial girl, but in like the 1950s, so like Jim Crow era, because like back then we were like illegal. So that's what I started writing about. And I automatically started to rhyme. And then I asked my teacher, I'm like, yo, like, can I do this? Like, does it fit in your like criteria? Because, you know, in high school, they have like criteria thing or whatever. Yeah. So I asked her, I'm like, can I do that? Like, am I allowed to rhyme? She's like, yeah. It's actually spoken word poetry. And I'm like, what's that? So then she told me about it a little bit, went home, watched some stuff on YouTube. I'm like, okay, this is sick. And then this was in October of the school year. So I performed it for the class because like that was the assignment, whatever. Half the class cried. My teacher was like, what the hell is this? So then she's like, do you want to perform this for Black History Month, like for the school in the upcoming, like in February? And I'm like, okay, sure. Mind you, my school had like 2,200 kids. Like there was bare, and I was this little dinky grade 9. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anyone. It was ridiculous. So my first performance, it was good. It was good. People lost their minds and whatever. But like I always reference back to this, and maybe it's cheesy, but like, you know, Eminem, like knees weak, arms heavy, da da da. Literally, I couldn't breathe. I was sweating. Like my throat was so dry. Like it was just bad. But yeah, I did it. And after that performance, like everyone like lost their minds, whatever, I was like, yo, like this is sick. Like this is something I can do. This is something people respond to. So, and I've always been a big writer too. So I really liked it was the response from the audience that made me want to do it. And then yeah, from there I just kind of started writing. I got in contact with who's now like my manager, mentor. He's basically family at this point, but he also helped me a lot to find gigs and like give me tips and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's been going well. I've seen you do like a couple of like performances, and I watched a couple of like the short like clips you post.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, really, really well. You're really good, by the way. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do miss it. I miss it a lot. COVID
like, like since COVID came, like have you been like writing and keeping stuff in the books and practicing, or are you like how you been dealing with it? Because I'm sure like you had a lot of momentum at first, like you got show after show, you're going.
Yeah.
But like now it's just like.
Yeah. Honestly, when COVID first started, I was good and I was writing and I was like, okay, like prepping for like whenever this thing was going to be done. And then COVID started to last a little bit too long. And then I kind of just like deflated when it came to like my motivation. And I had a rude writer's block. I didn't write for like 6, 7, maybe like 8 months. Now I'm back and I'm like really like pushing for it. And I'm like trying to discipline myself. Because the thing is too, I'm a performance poet. I don't thrive off of like page poetry and or even like online gigs and stuff like that. Like I thrive off of the energy of the audience and like seeing people and stuff like that. So I haven't had any gigs like proper, what I would call like on stage legitimate gigs in like a year and a half because of COVID. The only time I did perform in front of people was at there was a Black Lives Matter protest downtown at Yonge and Dundas. Some guy just handed me the mic and I'm like, all right, say no more. So that was that, but it wasn't anything like legitimate or like serious. Like they called me, booked me, whatever. So it's been frustrating. It has, but I gotta just like keep the motivation, keep the discipline, and like set up routines and stuff like that. So I am writing, but it's always gonna have my heart. And once COVID's done, just know, like I'm touching every mic. But I have to wait for COVID to be done first. So, yeah. Sorry?
What do you want to perform next? Like what topic you want to talk about?
Honestly, it depends on what's happening because I'm writing about like everything, like stuff that's happening in the media. And then also like I first started writing because it was my way to like explain things for me to like cope and deal with stuff that was happening. So I still use it for that. Like if something's happening in my brain or something's happening in my life or whatever, like it all goes on into poetry. So it really just depends on what's happening and like how I feel about certain pieces, because I won't perform certain pieces if I'm not like there with them anymore, if I don't feel for them anymore. So it really just depends on the circumstance, what's happening in life, and who I'm performing for. I gotta choose it based off the audience too.
For sure. Okay. And wrap it up. We want like this question we ask everyone. So we just want to know if you've ever had a Satori moment. Satori, if you don't know the meaning of it, it's an experience of awakening. So a moment that reveals something within you. You didn't know it was there without that moment happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you had any Satori moments?
I have. The poetry thing is definitely a Satori. Like that, like it sounds so cheesy, so cliche when I actually explain it to people, but I'm like, yo, like when I finished performing and they started clapping, the like 2 seconds in between that, I was like, yo, like I did that and I want to keep doing that. Like that feeling right there is like, that's the chase. Like, I don't know if people, like if you've heard people talk about this before, but like there are performers and artists and stuff like that where like they talk about like the one thing that keeps them doing what it's doing, because this whole thing is stressful and there's like it's demanding and there's a lot of things people expect of you and whatever, but like there's always that one thing. And for me, that was the one thing. It's like that chase of like getting that feeling of like, okay, people are actually listening and people actually care about what I have to say. Like that's sick. That's so sick to me. So I guess that would be my story moment. Yeah.
So to wrap it up, we just have 2 questions we ask everyone.
Okay.
First question is, if you had to describe yourself using one spice.
Using one spice? Are you serious?
How would you describe yourself with what?
Wow. I'm looking at my spice cabinet literally. Okay. The first one that came to my head, I use paprika and cayenne a lot. It's like my go-to just for like easy, simple stuff. And like if I was to combine those two, I would say those, only because this is like only because if you add like, let's say you add like a little bit too much, it will kick your throat. If you don't add enough, then you won't even like taste it. So it's like, if I was to say it's like for me or whatever, like I don't even know how to like make that connect, but in my head it connects. Like it's just like, if depending on how much of me you get, you know what I mean? Like there's just a different, I don't even know. It just makes sense. Cayenne and paprika. That's what I'm leaving that at. Yeah.
And,
that's cool.
3 music artists that you listen to, you feel everyone else should listen?
3 music artists that I listen to that I feel like everyone else should. J. Cole's the first one. I'm sorry, I'm a J. Cole fan. I'm a J. Cole stan. I love J. Cole. That like I don't know. Twitter comes for people like me, but I'm obsessed with J. Cole. Spits. Honestly, people sleep on Eminem, and I do understand it's because he has been releasing some pretty not good stuff lately. But I feel like it's because he's trying to modernize himself with the common like new people music. I think old Eminem, 100%, people should stop sleeping on him because he paved the way for all these other dinky rappers out there. And last one, let me think. I need to be a good one. Eminem, J. Cole. But the people I listen to, they already probably listen to. Like, I've been listening to a lot of Drake lately. Actually, I'll put a reggae artist, Barris Hammond. Everyone, listen to Barris Hammond. He's my favorite reggae artist. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to come sit down with us.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
We'll leave all your socials in the description below.
Okay. So, you want me to do it right now, or you're gonna do it? I'm confused. I don't know. You said like you cut out a little bit. I was a bit confused. Okay, thanks.